This is Ann. And first thing I want to say is I want to thank everyone who saw the video where I was talking about Jack. Jack's my husband, and he had a really bad, we didn't know what it was. His teeth were hurting real bad, and we went to the dentist, and he found out that he needed a root canal. And of course, we know how much we like we know how much we like those. It's not pleasant, but it's a good way of saving your teeth. And we have a really great dentist, and so Jack kind of looked at me, and of course, you get worried about the pain. Of course, the money thing comes in, and I said, well, I would love for you to save that tooth. Sure, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, yeah, we think finances too and stuff like that. But really, I would love for him to save his, beautiful smile. And so, at the time, he was in a lot of pain and stuff like that. But I can't remember which video it was, but I did ask you guys if you could pray for Jack, and I want to thank you guys for praying for Jack, because he had his root canal done on Friday. Everything went super great. It was supposed to be like a 3-hour procedure, and he was done in 2 hours talking, and it was just really great, because I thought he'd be kind of, because he's so numbed up and everything. And but no, he came out, and then the next day he pretty much rested the next day. But by Sunday he was smiling, he was laughing, he was doing great. So I'm just very, very thankful. I thank Jesus on heaven super big time. I want to thank you guys for your prayers. On top of that, now you probably want now Jack had another thing lined up, which I didn't mention. He's gonna go in for a colonoscopy. I can't say it. Colonoscopy. Can I say a colon checkup? My mouth is not working today. But anyway, so today he's fasting today. He's at work. And I give it to him because he's basically drinking some stuff. He can't have anything to eat today, and then tomorrow he goes in for the procedure. And I'm really, really proud of him for going in and getting it done, because I know it's get your nerves going. But I really give it to him. I mean, 2 big procedures in less than a week. And it's 90-something degrees outside. I mean, this whole week's going to be hot and humid. So I really, really give it to him. And so if you can, I really would appreciate if you guys can pray for Jack for the colonoscopy. Miss Rose, can you help me say the word? Thank you. I can't say that word, and my life depends on it today. But yes, if you could pray for him, I greatly appreciate it, because I know your prayers are being heard, and everything's turned out really great for him. Sunday was a pretty exciting day. About 2 weeks ago, they had my daughter. I mean, like I told you, she's a really great shopper. And it's funny, it's like over the past 4 or 5, 6 years, we would go over to, different stores, and they'd have these, I call them, for me, they're like tents, but no, it was, they had these big, beautiful gazebos, the portable type. I mean, not the wooden type that you have, the more expensive type, but, the portable type that they sell during the summertime. And, they put the nice wicker furniture inside, and they have the, some of them have the mosquito nets and everything, and they show like the little tiki lamps. And the only thing is that the one thing that I said, oh, that would be nice to have, but it was always the price. Sometimes, a lot of times the prices would be $400-$500. I've seen some for as much as almost $1,000. And so my husband said, hey, why don't we get one of these? But it's just, with the budget thing, it was sort of like, it's just, it's just a little expensive. But see, the thing is, like for myself, and I'm probably speaking even for my daughter and I, but like I mentioned on one video, I don't do very well in the sun, and I take some medications that make me burn a little bit more too. And of course, everybody knows the UV rays have gotten a bit stronger. My guess is it's probably climate change. Some people would differ on their opinion on it, but I just notice it's just, we're living here on the East Coast. I grew up on the West Coast. I grew up, like I mentioned before, I grew up in California, on the beach. So the sun is really, really bright in California. It's really great. On the East Coast, it's still bright, but it's not quite as bright unless, like, if you're heading towards maybe Florida, then it seems brighter. So the thing is, but even then, it's still, your skin can burn. And myself, I'm not super, fair skinned. But even myself, I do burn. And then, of course, you worry about that, especially if you have kind of a medical background like myself. So, so in a way, a lot of times, like during the summertime, and this is what I love about North Carolina, because you get those 4 seasons. It's really pretty. And during the summertime, it gets hot, but it's not super, super hot. I mean, I've been in places hotter. But the thing is, a lot of times between, you kind of get the mosquitoes a little bit, and then the humidity, and then the heat. So a lot of times, my daughter and I, Rose and I, we will wait till like around sunset, evening time, or even early in the morning. We'll go out and sit outside on the porch, or if we can go out in the backyard, we'll try to go out in the backyard. And then we will travel during the day if we have to. We'll be in an air-conditioned car. But so the irony of it all, my daughter, she has a really nice car, but like my husband's car, I won't say what brand it is. His car is a 1995. It's a station wagon. And as soon as he turns on his air conditioner, I mean, it's like a freezer. I mean, it's nice cold air. The only thing is, he has a little bit of a gas smell that comes out through the vents, and I'm not supposed to be around it. It's not good. So we don't go in his car too much. Then my daughter's car, she's got a newer car. It's a 2004, and it's a great car, great on gas. They're both great on gas. But the only thing is, the AC works. The air conditioning works, but it doesn't pump out as much cooler air. So years back, my husband found it's a cooler, and it's got like a little motor on it. And then what you do is you plug it into your what do you call it? Your lighter, and then all you have to do is buy a 5, 10, 17-pound bag of ice. You stick the ice in there, and we stick it in the back seat, and it helps cool the car down. And it really does work. And the nice thing about it is, if you're on a short trip or a long trip, you can stick cans of soda in there, or water, or anything that, even we've had like, stuff that goes in the freezer. We stick it in there until we get home, and then it doesn't go bad, plus it cools off the car. So, but even with that, if the temperature is, let's say, around 89 or 90 degrees and the humidity is high, you still feel kind of warm in the car. So in a sense, we get out when we can. We try to work with the car in the circumstances. So I'm going around the long way. I'm going around this bush the long way. But I guess what I'm trying to say is the reason why we were looking at those outside gazebos, but like I said, they were running usually $400 or $500. Cheapest I saw years back was $399. It was at the end of the summer season, and then so even though it seemed great because it has a cover, some of them had the mosquito nets, and the mosquitoes, they love me. I don't know what it is. They love my daughter too. I mean, they really, Jack, for some reason, they don't tend to, they tend to leave him alone a little bit more. But with me, they love me. They've always loved me. And so, and I don't like to put too much chemicals on my skin. I just don't like chemicals. I don't like too many chemicals right now, especially in the last 4 years. I've just been trying to stay away from chemicals a lot more. Anyway, to make a long story short, my daughter, Rose, maybe you could tell me, how did you find the gazebo? I'm trying to remember.
I was looking through some online ads for a local store, and then I suddenly seen at the very last page, shoved in the corner, was this $100 gazebo.
Right. It was, I think it was $99 or $100. I can't remember. It was $99 or $100. And she showed it to me. And I looked at it. At first I thought, you know, when you look at the picture, I thought, well, it looks, maybe it's kind of small. You know, it might be one of those little real cheap deals that'll tear apart in about 2 days. And but then the nice thing about it, it had the mosquito net thing, and then it said it was portable. I mean, you could put it up in your backyard, or you could maybe take it to a lake or a park, and you could set it up over there. And I don't recall them saying how much it weighed. I don't think they said how much it weighed. But anyway, we went to this store, and I hope it's okay for me to name the store. But we went to Rose's, and I called ahead of time to see if they had it in stock. And they said, oh yeah, we have in stock different colors. And when we walked in there, and I just couldn't believe it, because we went near the the summer stuff where they have the camping and everything, and the little where they sell the swimming pools and all that. So we went over there, and we saw this really large gazebo. I says, oh, that must be their $300 to $500 deal. It's gotta be. And then Rose told me, yeah, you can jump in here, Rose. I was looking at it, and you said, Mom. And you said, Mom, what was it? You said, Mom, I was looking at it, and you said, Mom, this is it. This is the $100 special.
Oh yeah, we saw this very nice gazebo in the middle of the store. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Mom? And I remember very clearly what it looked like in the ad. And I says, I think that's the one in the advertisement.
And then, I says, no, you got to be kidding. I couldn't believe it. Because in the store, everything looks bigger anyway, but still, it looked large. And then we walked over there, and see, originally Jack wanted to kind of build his own. We have like a wooden thing in the backyard. It used to have a swing on it, and the swing's gone, so we have just the wooden part to it. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it looks like, it looks like a place where it's an unusual looking wooden thing, and so he thought he would use that, maybe buy, a couple, like 1 or 2 tarps, and then make his own kind of cover, like a tent. And he was trying to save money, so he mentioned, well, I asked him, I said, if you could make a list, blah, 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 how much would it cost? He says, well, between the tarps that he was looking at and everything, it would be about $80. And so when my daughter found the gazebo for $100, it said it had a built-in mosquito net, and she told me that just a mosquito net alone can cost $30 or $40. I didn't know that. See, this is where she's like I told you, she's really smart. So then I said, well, then, like, so getting back to the store. So we walked over there, the three of us, and we looked at it, and I said, this is the $100 special? And it looked really large. It's how large is it, Rose? It's a
10 by 12 or 10 by 13.
I think it's a 10 by 12 or, yeah, 10 by 12, something like that. And you think to yourself, well, 10 by 12 is not that big, but when you really look at it, you know, and then Jack was saying, well, are you sure you can? I said, yeah. I mean, they had a bunch of wicker furniture in there. It was stuffed full of furniture in there, and they still had room. You still had room to kind of walk around, and it was plenty of room. And they had the mosquito net. It had the zipper on all four sides. And I looked at it, and I just couldn't believe it. I just said, I can't get over how this is $100. And later on, we checked two other stores. I won't name the stores. And there was another budget store that sold theirs for, I think it was about $400. And then we went to another major store. And of course, the major store was built a little bit more solid. It had more of that kind of solid pillar type thing. But still, it was like $999. And I said to myself, we wanted to just for ourselves, like my daughter and I, we just want to go out in the backyard a little bit, just enjoy the fresh air. You know, we have a nice view and everything. Just really, really wanted to enjoy it because technically, really, in the last 3-4 years, I haven't been out in the backyard that much. Really haven't sat out. I mean, even during the year when it's cooler, we haven't really sat out in the porch that much. So really, just really wanted to get out this year, just kind of enjoy the fresh air. We thought maybe try to do a few more outdoor things that don't require a lot of physical stuff because I'm not real strong. I have, it's part of my medical condition. So when we saw this $100 gazebo that we normally wouldn't pay for because of the price, and I was so excited, and even Jack, he looked at it, and I think he was stunned. He was stunned too. So we went ahead and my daughter said, well, what color you want to go? I said, Rose, you go ahead and pick out the color. And she's got really good taste. And she picked out one. And then I said to myself, we were looking for a pool, but like a cheap pool, but something that's low to the ground, because I can't do a pool where you need a ladder or you have to climb out. I have weak muscles. So, can't do that. So we found, years ago when Rose was younger, we found this family pool. And at that time, they used to be about $29. And we found the same one. It's about a little bit over 2 feet tall. It's, I say about 2.5 feet tall. It's about 8 foot long. It's one of them rectangular deals. So I think it was $29. And then Rose found some squirt guns. And sometimes we like to have fun. And they were 50 cents a piece. And I was thrilled because, sure, it was between the pool. I think the pool was $29. And then the gazebo was $100. And then the little squirt. I mean, we're talking about $131 investment. But that's for the whole summer. And earlier, Rose found some, it's like these inflatable chairs you can use outside or inside. We got them at Walmart. And they were $20 a piece. And we bought these a few weeks back. And the nice thing about it is you kind of inflate them. And they have a suede feeling to them. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to let the phone ring off. I'll see who it is and I'll call him later. But also, too, I was going to mention, too, well, since the phone's ringing, I don't know about the rest of you, but we've been getting a lot more of these scam phone calls on the home phone, as well as, well, I don't use a cell phone very much, but just a whole bunch. It started about a month or two ago, and I've seen other people on YouTube talking about it too, so it's not just us. We thought they're coming from all over the country, so anyway, it's just every time we have a blocking system. It takes up to 12. You can block 12 numbers at one time, and then you have to clean it out. So what I do is I try to block that number, and then when it gets up to 12, it gets full up, then I empty it. I basically empty it out, and then I start all over again, and just this way we can kind of knock down those, because if we don't block these phones, we've had up to 3 or 4 a day sometimes. It's just wild. But anyway, but enough about the telephone. That's another thing that's just a whole nother ball of wax there. But anyway, to make it short, on Sunday when Jack was feeling better, my daughter and my husband, and I really give it to my daughter because it was pretty hot that afternoon and she was tired, and they started putting the gazebo up. And what was really surprising to me is it comes in like 3 steps. I thought there would be 20 steps. I never care for those deals where you put these things together and you need about 10,000 screws and you don't have the right screwdriver. Of course, I don't do this. I used to be, when I was healthier, I used to try to help my husband. My daughter would help, but they have like 20 different screws, and then you need all these screwdrivers, but this gazebo only has 3 steps, and I just couldn't get over it. But what happened was, where I felt bad was, I was in the house, and I was trying to stay away from the heat, and so my daughter, she offered to go out there and help Jack, and she's like that. She helps me all the time. She helps Jack all the time. She's just a very, very good person. Went out there, and Rose, is it okay for me to tell him what happened, or?
Sure. Yeah.
It's up to you. I don't want to say it if you don't want me to say it, but what happened was, yes, excuse me, because I got this awful funny bone, and I'm not laughing at my daughter, because, we've all been in this situation, but I was scared because what happened was, it takes, in my opinion, it takes at least 3 people to get this gazebo up, and it's a good one. I mean, it's Rose's, they sell great stuff. It's a great store. Every store I mention is really a great store. So there's no tearing down there, that's for sure. But what happened was, they were trying to get it up, and then it seemed like you kind of need like a third person, like an anchor, where person just holds one side. And I didn't go out there because it was already, I don't know, it seemed pretty hot. I'm going to take a guess, it was probably already 90 already. And, but my daughter and my husband were out there putting it up. And then I see my daughter, I can't describe her face, but my daughter's I'm going to tell you something. My daughter, you don't see her on camera. And I respect her, because she wants her privacy, and I respect her for that. But I'm going to tell you something, and I hope it's okay if I say this, Rose, but she's very beautiful on the outside. She's beautiful in the inside. So, I'm real proud of her. She's if you could see her face on YouTube, you say, wow, she's quite a looker. And so she was out there, and then she had this strained look on her face. And I said, uh-oh. I thought it's like it's almost like an accordion, or it's like an umbrella, type thing. And I thought maybe her leg got caught in one of the metal deals, or it's like a plastic metal. I'm not sure what it is. And then she says, Mom, I could hear her. She's no, I have a cramp. And then it was in her back. And then I get these. I don't know if you guys ever get these, where I get cramps in my feet, my toes. Of course, everybody gets those, but I get them. The ones I really hate, I'll tell you, the ones I really hate is the ones you get in your leg, and it's kind of like, I'm trying to figure out what part of the leg this is. Is it like your what is this part, Rose? It's in your lower leg, but it's behind your it's not your thigh, but it's,
when it comes to anatomy and physiology, you can count me out on this one.
It's you know what I'm talking about. It's like the lower part of your leg, and it's right behind it. It's not your thigh, but it's like lower your calves. It's above your calves. And sometimes you'll be sleeping in the middle of the night and you stretch your leg out. You stretch your leg out, and then all of a sudden that cramp, it comes and goes ding, and then it grabs that muscle, and then it's like, oh, and then you know, you're trying to figure out what to do to make it better. And some people said, well, stretch your leg out. I tried that, and when I stretched my leg out, it made it worse. And then I found the only way you can do is you have to try to swing your body over to get your leg to go down. But see, I have weak muscles, so for me to move, you know, I have a hard time moving. Like, you know, when you're the average healthy person, it just takes me, you know, a little time to do that. So then I get it, and I just, it'll last. It just like it. That's why my daughter, when she had the cramp in her back, I really felt for her, because I've always known her to get cramps, but usually she'll get the one-time deals and it goes away. That's what I thought. Well, the other day, her back, she had those reoccurring cramps. So as soon as it goes away, and you say, oh, it's done, it's over with, it comes back with a vengeance. Sometimes the second cramp is even worse than the first one. And then it's like, ugh. And then she got like, I believe you got 2 or 3.
Yep. And I couldn't move because my back hurt.
Golly.
So my legs, I couldn't quite feel my legs to move.
Oh, exactly. And I've had those in the back of like right above my calves. And I've had those reoccurring ones, and you just like, you're in the bed, or like
you're a captive audience.
In the case of my daughter, she was standing, and it's the heat of the day, and she's doing the best she can, and she's got 3 reoccurring cramps, and I've never had a cramp in my back. I've had cramps. I don't want to say it on YouTube here, but you know, in the behind, which I didn't think you could get a cramp there, and I had them there, but I've had usually the ones in the legs and the feet, and those are painful, but I just can't even imagine having one in the back like that. And then my husband, he was real nice. He brought her up the stairs and got her in the house. And I said, hey, let's just wait till it's cooler, and then I'll try to go out there. I'm not much help. I said, but I'll try to hold, like be a stand and try to hold. And then, you know, sure enough. So we figured just wait till it cools down about 7 o'clock in the evening. But I can tell you, for those who get those recurring cramps, a nurse told me years ago, if you eat a banana every day, you lessen your chances of getting cramps anywhere because of the potassium. And I've had bananas. I still get cramps, but it's not as bad as it used to be. But I can tell you, those are one of the things that people don't talk about that is just excruciating. But anyway, later that night, we all went out there about 7:30. All I didn't do much. I just kind of held on to the little, I guess, that one end. And my daughter and my husband did a wonderful job. They put it up, and I'm just really proud of them. They put it up. They did a great job. And it looks great. It's a pretty red. And it's got a mosquito net, so the mosquitoes can't come in, or other bugs. And then on top of that, my daughter and husband, they blew up those inflatable chairs, and we had to buy one more for Jack. We only bought 2, and then so we went ahead and sat in them, and I can't tell you. And then my husband, he even cut down these bushes that were kind of blocking the view. So it's like I'm extremely thankful to, you know, Jesus now in heaven, you know, for letting us have this beautiful gazebo and the chairs and everything. And I want to thank Rose and my husband for doing all that work to put it together, because now we can pretty much, you know, for the next 2-3 months, enjoy going outside in the morning or in the evenings when it's not too hot, and we don't have to worry about the bugs. And of course, I'm worried about the Zika virus. They mentioned that this year might be a little bit more rough with that. So, and we still bought, we found out, actually my daughter did the research, and she found out about, you know, we're looking for natural things that we can use to, you know, not have to put stuff on the skin. And, you know, a lot of people use DEET and it works really great. But and then people used to use, sometimes another thing, ladies would use a different type of thing on there that would help. And citronella candles. We've had bug zappers. We had, you know, we thought about buying the clip-ons at one time. I heard they work really great. All the stuff works really great. But we were looking for something even more natural, and then Rose found it. She was checking on the computer, and she found out that catnip actually is a big, you know, it protects you against mosquitoes, which blew my mind because we have 2 cats. And so she went ahead and ordered the catnip. It's like an oil, and you can either buy the candle type. But Rose found, we have one that's like a really pretty lamp, and it's got like little kind of crystals things on it. We paid about $20 for it, and at the top you can pour some oil in. It'll kind of burn, and you know, it'll kind of, it's a plug-in deal, and you can it'll burn the oil, and then it'll spread the smell around. We haven't tried it yet. We haven't opened up the packet of catnip yet. It's in the house. I just don't want to do it because if our 2 cats smell the catnip oil, you know, they can get pretty excited. And but yeah, we, you know, right now with the net and it works out great. It's we can see the bugs trying to come in and they couldn't get in. So I'm extremely thankful, very, very happy. So the last really Sunday night and yesterday, we, you know, we try to make the most of it, try to enjoy it, because we really haven't spent too much time outdoors. My daughter and I, my husband, he will go out there and cut the grass and stuff, so he's more outdoors a little bit more than we are. We get outdoors when we go out, if we go grocery shopping or we get out places. But as far as like going outside in our backyard or front yard, we don't go out as much during the hot months. But the rest of the year, it's really great, and so it's really this is just a real blessing to us, and I'm very, very thankful about that. And so, but anyway, that's what's been going on. And then, you know, my husband's going in for his colon checkup. And so we're going to certainly pray everything goes really great. I've got a good feeling about it. I think he's going to be just fine, but we're still praying. And if you can pray for Jack that everything goes great with his colon exam, I really appreciate your prayers, because I know your prayers are very powerful, very strong, and I do appreciate it. And also, too, the last day or two, I've been, you know, naturally I look at YouTube. I've been, you know, the interesting thing about our history with YouTube is that my daughter's always watched YouTube quite a bit. My husband watches YouTube every day. He loves it. And so, you know, we really love YouTube. And like I said, I always say I'm very thankful to be on there. Even if I even have just 1 or 2 views, I'm thankful to be on there. And so, you know, it's really great for people like our family, ourselves, to be on there. And so the thing is, my history with YouTube, which I didn't even, you know, my daughter was telling me she knows a lot more about YouTube history, but I was looking at a video just a little while ago, and this one guy was giving us the history of YouTube, and I didn't know YouTube started in 2005, and my daughter told me that Google and YouTube are together, they're one, which I didn't know that. And you're probably saying, boy, Aunt, where has she been? She's been living on the moon. But the only time, back in the day, I was more of a, and this is where I think we're doing things a lot smarter. We were, a lot of people are still using cable and satellite, which is fine. But for us, I noticed we were watching just certain things, so it didn't pay off. It didn't really pay off for us. Plus, I'm not gonna lie to you, we were trying to find ways to save money, cut corners. So we started. I love the streaming thing. And my daughter is the one who recommended, getting the streaming boxes, which is absolute genius. I didn't even know they existed. And the thing is with my daughter is she keeps me up to date on everything, not just technology. She keeps me up to date with everything that is going on, popular things, trending things. I'm pretty much, in a way, I'm not saying I live in a vacuum, but I'll watch. I'm so used to, like with my time frame, I'm used to just watching TV, or you plug in a DVD, but when all of a sudden when I was introduced to streaming and I could watch, these films that I normally either couldn't buy or even things that I hadn't seen in years, and I could see it. It was like I was really, really excited. That's one of the reasons why I like YouTube so much too, because they have stuff on there that I haven't seen in years, and the new stuff, and then you see the personal stories about people, and then they have tutorials, and then gaming, they have music, everything. I mean, it's really great. I mean, it was just, to me, with YouTube, it's like it has everything. And it was like, and of course I love Google, because I Google a lot of things. I just, back in the day when I was growing up, if you didn't know something, and it was kind of a thing, back in the 70s, if you don't know something, or even in the late 60s, if you didn't know something and you were at home and your TV only had like a few channels, especially if you're doing homework or schoolwork, well, go to the library, which is, I highly recommend. I love the library. The library is great. I still love the libraries. They got a lot of great books. They got a lot of stuff now. It's incredible. Highly recommended. But back in the day, or if you were lucky enough to have encyclopedias in the house, which we did, I remember, how we got the encyclopedias too, because my mom would go to the grocery store. I won't mention which grocery store. They're still in existence. They're a great supermarket. They don't have them here, but they have them back out west. And my mom bought a certain amount of groceries. She could buy, like so many books and so many encyclopedias. So she could get, number A, B, or C, and so she collected the whole set. She took her time, and she bought, and she would go grocery shopping every week. We only go grocery shopping every 2 weeks. It's not that I don't, I just don't, I'm not real big on food shopping, but we need food. But my mom would go every week, and so she would pick up these encyclopedias for a really good price, and then she got the whole collection. So I remember, unless you were looking, my dad would say, well, if there's something you need to know, check, look for it in the encyclopedia. And so I remember, checking stuff in the encyclopedia or library, and then they had the almanac too, and they still have great almanacs, and so they have tons of information. But what I love about, especially with the World Wide Web, and being able to Google things, or be able to see videos on YouTube, or people talking or giving you information, showing you stuff. It's more than just entertainment. It's just everything. It's like now I can kind of like type in what how do you do this, or blah 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 blah, and I can either Google it or I can see it on YouTube. It's really great. Or I can see on other sites there are, but the thing is I'm really excited about it, especially at my age, because we didn't have that capability of doing that, and so this is where I'm really excited about all this, and so if I seem like a little kid about it, and I probably do, it's because I'm really, really excited about it. It's just, it's something that my age bracket, we didn't have this. And sure, people had home movies. You could take home movies, or you had the little projector. And then even then, we had the little, the little, video camcorders and stuff like that. We had one of those, but it's still, what's so great about it, about what I like about YouTube, is that you can put your home films or whatever, and not only do you share it with your family, but the whole world can see you. And it's not a conceited thing or anything like that. It's kind of like, in a way, it's sort of like, I think for most people, and this is just my opinion, but I think, I would like to believe that most people would kind of like to leave a piece of themselves behind. It's sort of like, you like to be remembered. And sure, you have photographs, you can take pictures, or back in the day we took, like videos, and of course now you can't find as many VCRs, but the thing is, I think what's nice about YouTube, and this is where I'm praying that YouTube will be around for a long, long time, and Google too, because I think they provide, I think sometimes we look at the negative sides. People look at but I look at the positive sides, and I see where, like right now, if something happened to me 10 years from now, if YouTube stays around for a long time, along with Google, I mean, just think, my grandkids can say, hey, there's Grandma. If I'm still on there, there's Grandma. That's the way she was 10 years ago. And so I think it's really great. Or other people, or you can say, hey, you can see me on this station here, and they can see you, and people that, acquaintances, friends, whatever, people that you just meet. It's really great. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just really, I don't have tons of views. I mean, I'm kind of down there, but that's okay. That's okay, because the thing is, I'm thankful to be on here, and I'm just thankful that my daughter, she does all the stuff. She's the one that, uploads everything. I don't know how to do any of it. The only thing I can do is sit in front of this camera and talk to you, and she does everything else for me, which I cannot thank her enough, because without my daughter Rose, I could not do this. My technical know-how, sure, I know how to use in fact, I'll be very honest with you, my daughter taught me how to use the computer. She taught me how to use a tablet. She taught me how to use a cell phone. I don't have a smartphone. I have still a very basic, cell phone, which still works. I'm going to use it till it blows up. But in many ways, the reason I do that is we're just trying to save money. I'm not going to lie to you, just trying to budget and things like that. But she taught me how to use the streaming boxes and just things like that. And for a long time, I didn't want to give up our big, bulky TVs. I think we're one of the last families, one of the few last families in the U.S. to get like a flat screen TV. But what made me think about it is we had like I think it was, how large was that one, Rose? Was it a 40-inch? I think it was a 40-inch. We had a big, bulky. And I remember my husband, he earned a bonus award. And we took the money and we went down to Walmart. And Walmart has a lot of great TVs. And we went down there and we bought one. But the only reason why we went ahead and we gave it to a neighbor. And the reason why is because we're not getting any younger. I'm not going to lie to you. You get older, I mean, some people, they're in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're in great shape. But some of us are in a different situation. So I saw it, and I looked at the flat screen TVs, And I thought, well, they're so popular, but we waited many, many years after they came out. And then I started thinking to myself, what if we have to move the TV or something, and we're not strong enough to do it? And my husband's a strong man. He is. He's a very strong man. But I thought to myself, as we get older, it's going to be harder. So we got our first flat screen TV, and we got it. I think we bought it. I think it was one of those Black Friday specials. I could be wrong, Rose. Your memory's better than mine. But I kept thinking it was a Black Friday special. I'm not sure. I keep thinking it was.
I can't really remember.
Yeah. But anyway, we got it, and we got it was a 32-inch, and I think we paid about $199 for it. Of course, now you can get them for that price now, but back then. But then, we're always looking for good deals. We're trying to keep, we try to stay within a budget. And so, myself being handicapped and having medical problems, I'm not able to work outside of the home. My husband works full time, and so, believe me, we're extremely thankful to Jesus on heaven for the money we receive, for, we're thankful for everything. And, but the thing is, I'm talking about TVs right now, but the reason why I brought that up is because in many ways I've kind of dragged my feet literally when it came to certain things. In fact, years ago, my godmother, this was back in the 90s, and the web TV came out, I think, in 1995. And she was one of the first ones to buy. My godmother's beautiful. She's up in heaven now. My godfather's living in Georgia now. Beautiful, beautiful, just family. And she's very, very special. And she was one of the first ones to get a web TV. And then she told me about how great it was, and I would be able to, get on the internet and, blah, 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 because I didn't know how to use a computer. And so then I waited a little time, and then we got one, and then all of a sudden it was, here we were on the internet, and, being able to do emails and stuff like that. And then after that, my husband, he was able to take some courses, and of course he was in a job where he's using a computer, so he became very computer literate. And then, but what I'm really impressed with is my daughter. And I know you keep saying, I keep talking about Rose, but I'm just going to say, she taught herself how to use the computer. I was not able to help her. I was using the web TV, but it's different than a standard, computer. And then my husband, he was, busy at work or, doing his own thing. So, basically she took a computer that we thought it was a used computer. We didn't think, we thought it was, it was broken. It was broken. And then she plugged it in and zipped right up, and then she taught herself. I forgot how old she was when she started learning how to use a computer on her own. And usually, where I felt bad was, my daughter and I, we were homeschooling, and I felt, as a mother, I said, boy, I feel really, really dumb because I can't teach her how to use the computer. And I felt like I wasn't, being a very good teacher or a mom. You start beating yourself up. And, but she just, she learned how to use the computer. And then she's at a point now where she makes my husband look like he's standing. But my husband's good on the computer, but she makes, Jack look like he's standing still. And she is, not only does she know how to use a computer and her, and other things. I mean, she's just very tech savvy. She's just incredible. She does her own stuff. It's incredible what she can do. And I really admire her because, you know, she didn't, like I see a lot of the younger kids right now, and the parents, you know, teach them how to use it, and then they're really great. But she didn't have that. And so I really admire her, and I feel like, boy, I wish I could have taught her. And then people are saying, well, why didn't you take a computer course? But see, the type of disabilities I have is like, one of them is like I have really bad nerves. So, you know, the driving thing is not quite there for me. And then try to take a course, you know, if I have to like walk a long ways, I need my wheelchair. And of course, you know, and at that time my daughter was young and she was too young to drive, and then my husband's working, so it's a unique situation. We were in a very unique situation. And so but I want to tell you that, you know, I thank Jesus in heaven for just everything, because my daughter Rose has helped me so much. My husband Jack, he's helped me out a whole lot. He has. I haven't mentioned about how much Jack has helped me out, because see, right now I'm 57 and I got sick. It would seem like everything came at one time when I turned 33, and we were in California at the time, and my bad nerves kicked in, and then the muscle and the neurological stuff kicked in, and then 4 years ago something else came up. I was diagnosed with cancer. And then so we've been going through, you know, cancer treatments. So it's just been a lot of things. And so I cannot thank my daughter and my husband in Jesus in heaven, super big time, all of them super big time, for helping me every day and just being there for me and loving me and supporting me, praying for me. You know, I'll be quite frank with you. I'd be very extremely limited in what I can do just by myself. I mean, just if I was on my own, it'd be like very, very small. So I really want to say this because even if I only have like one view on this or 5 views, I would like to believe that this would be left behind for my daughter and my husband and, you know, their futures. You know, if something happened to me. And so that's one of the reasons why I just I'm really, really excited. And I was listening to this guy today. He was talking about you know, whether he was caught between, you know, he was talking about money, and you know how, you know, some, you know, he's talking about how some people make, you know, large amount of money, you know, doing, you know, certain things, and he was caught between being true to himself and his creativity, and then worried about, you know, money, or whether you're making money or not making money. And for me, I think being here on YouTube like this, there's different opportunities for everybody in different situations. I think for a person like myself, who's handicapped, it's what I used to like doing before it's funny, it wasn't until like about, back in March and April and parts of May where I started watching YouTube a lot more. I was kind of the only time like my daughter and I mentioned her in an earlier video where, my daughter and I, we've been doing karaoke for years, and I have a hard time. I can remember melodies pretty good, but the lyrics tend to elude me. And she puts this, we use YouTube for the music, and we can see she puts it on the karaoke mode. We can see the lyrics, and we enjoy singing quite a bit. And if you see my last video, if my voice doesn't sound too good and you're doing this, it's okay. I perfectly understand. I'm not a professional singer, but the thing is, we've enjoyed using YouTube for like karaoke for many, many years. And then sometimes in the evenings, I put it on YouTube for just information. I like to check out these interesting things. And then in the past, I would, look at people taking vacations. And they would film their vacations like going to Venice or Egypt or Sweden or any place. And I would love to see their videos, because it's like, instead of me, I can't fly on a plane because of the brain thing. I have a brain condition. I was born with it. And so I'm not able to fly a plane. In my younger days, I actually did fly a plane until the doctors told me, well, no, you can't fly a plane anymore. So we pretty much have to drive, train, whatever. But the thing is, I think for me, I really enjoy those videos because it took me places where it would be hard for me to get to, whether it's because I can't get on a plane and go there, or we'd have to take a ship, or budgetary reasons. And so I really, really enjoyed it. And of course, I don't know if you noticed one of our first videos, we have a beautiful home chapel. And I was looking at people who, on YouTube, who had their own home chapels, and they would show their statues and pictures and their own beautiful chapels. And I could see other people, and I got pretty pumped up by it, because I would get ideas and I get excited about it. And it's like, but then when we got sick in April, we got these 2 bugs, 2 viruses back to back. So it affected our whole family. My daughter, myself, my husband got sick, but it seemed like my daughter and I got the worst. And so then I spent more time. It's the first time really in my life where I really started to look at YouTube like more on a full-time basis. And then I was looking, I seen all these subjects. I said, boy, this is an interesting subject. This is an interesting subject. And then I seen one, I won't name his name, but, he was doing dumpster diving. And that's something that we did back in California when I was younger. My husband did it a couple of times, and then picking up stuff on the side of the road. I love stuff like that. I mean, I love stuff like that. And then they showed like abandoned houses. I love stuff like that. People going in there with cameras and they're exploring these abandoned houses, and I just love stuff like that. And so I won't, I'm trying to be proud, unless people don't mind a shout out or whatever. But I noticed the last 2-3 weeks, especially, I say about a month maybe, I've been watching more YouTube than I ever have. And being in my position, especially if you're handicapped, it is like super great. You really, it's just really great. And don't get me wrong, we get out and we do things, we go places, stuff like that. We have family here, both West Coast and East Coast, but it's really, really great. And so I wanted to mention that, because I'm really praying that everything kind of stays in place where we can all enjoy this, because I've seen too many things that I love go away. I think it's kind of hard, because I sure you have to make room for new technology, but if something's really going well, like for instance, I'll mention American Idol. My daughter and I, she turned me on to American Idol. I started watching it, really loved it. And then all of a sudden, when that last season came up, and they said, well, no more, I was like, oh, no, I don't want to lose. And now we found out they're coming back on TV, and I was really, really excited. So certain things you just don't want to lose. You just don't want to lose it, and you just kind of praying it'll stay around. So certain things like this is like, yeah. So, I'm praying. I know there's some stuff going on, but I'm praying everything will work out, that everything will work out for everybody. It'll be a win-win situation. And but anyway, I just I want to thank you for listening to me. I'm talking longer than I told my daughter I'd only be on here for about 10 or 15 minutes. I know I've been on here way longer than that. I apologize. I can tell you, don't put a mic in front of me, because I can literally be, or a telephone, I can be on there for 3-4 hours, and I don't want to do that to you guys or to my daughter or anybody else. But I get excited, and I just keep on talking about different things. But I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to thank you guys for your prayers for people who did see, our video. I know we have, a small amount of views, but still, anybody who was out there who put in a prayer or even looked at we appreciate it. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching us today. God bless you. And I want to pray all of you have a blessed day. And we love you.